Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of DeepTech Studio. In nurturing a deep tech startup, ecosystems play a major role, and one major stakeholder is the accelerator. Accelerators have their own role to play. While providing a complete ecosystem support, accelerators are also a road to upskill and funding. But how does it pan out for new age tech like Metaverse and crypto? To find out more about the mentorship aspects of these startups, we have with us Madhurima Agarwal, who's Director of Engineering Programs and Leader for NetApp Excellerator. Hello, Madhurima, how are you?
Hi, Vaishnavi. Such a pleasure to be here.
There are these use cases in various enterprises, right? So in the real world, and enterprises are going to provide solutions. What are some of the startups from the cohort 9 that are working on these new age technologies? And if you could give some examples.
So I think, almost, NetObjex and Fabric are top of the mind that come because they are like deep into the space. But if we look at other startups like Continual Engine, which is working in the edtech space, it's also an accelerator participant. Now they are working on how do you just look at a graph, at a picture, and then interpret it to give something which is very easily understood as text, and that's a problem that's not been solved, right? While there are some people who've attempted that, but it's a complex problem to solve, and they are leveraging AI and stuff to see how they can solve for this. The same thing, right? If I have to translate that what Continual Engine is doing in the edtech space to a use case that might be within NetApp, for example, right? They can look at diagrams, they can look at a picture of our racks of the storage racks that are there, and help us translate that into what it really means, what has changed in that picture, and what it would translate for somebody who's sitting at the other end and trying to do problem solving, right? So this is how we can draw a lot of parallels. Think about eCommerce Insights. eCommerce Insights is again another accelerator participant based out of the US. Now, what they do is they draw insights from the reviews that have been shared on the e-commerce websites, right? And we all read. I'm sure we all read reviews before we click and add to cart or just buy now. That there's always something that we do. So that's what it means to us. But what does it mean for the e-commerce player? What insights can they draw from the reviews? How do they harness the power of those reviews to help them plan their roadmap, right? To strategize. So those are the kind of things that e-commerce insights is helping on. Then, so that's there. Then we have startups like Spectrum Analytics, which is based out of Botswana, right? And Botswana being, in the part of world it's situated, it's just amazing to see the startups like this coming out of, those places. They are in the analytics space. A lot of work is being done. We can look at FireVisor. FireVisor is again accelerator based out of Singapore, and I just love the energy these founders bring to us.
But now I want to understand that these are these startups of working on new age technologies, and then there are these applications. Now, where do you step in terms of mentoring, in terms of knowledge sharing, and in terms of resource sharing?
Yeah. So what we do is when we onboard these startups, we ask them the question, what is it that you're looking for from the program? And that's a starting point really, Vaishnavi, right? We don't have a one-size-fits-all approach. And I think that's what's helped us differentiate ourselves from other programs. So if a startup is looking for mentoring on the tech side, right, we assign technical mentors from within NetApp who are experts in those areas. And they kind of help the startups think about or rather question areas that they won't have even thought about, right? That's the biggest help we ask our mentors to do. We don't ask them that do this work for them or tell them what to do. That's not the idea. The idea is how do you ensure that the founder has thought about things which he or she might not even be aware of. Right? So that's the biggest help we try to and push them in directions, help them open up their thinking. Right? That's all if they're looking for technical mentors. If they're looking for business mentors, then we help them connect with business leaders, right? Whoever is in that area. We have tie-ups with some global programs as well, so we can tap into the global ecosystem and bring in leaders in various spaces for that. Then we have something which is very exclusive, which is the joint GTM opportunity. So a few of our startups, if they are at the right stage, if they have achieved the right kind of a growth, then we connect them to our sales team and help them explore some joint go-to-market strategies. We still don't do any kind of a product integration because that's extremely complex in a company like ours, the kind of products that we have. But we take them as the application layer, where NetApp is the bottom layer, right? So together we help create a solution and help them take them to market. So those are the various kind of gaps that we fill, right? Over the course of 4 months that they are with us and the mentors are engaging with them, we see if there is an opportunity for them to do a POC for NetApp, right? So they get to understand what NetApp does. They get to propose some kind of POCs, use cases that they can solve for NetApp. And at the same time, the mentor, right? They know NetApp very well. So they reach into within NetApp and see what are potential use cases that could be solved by that startup's technology. And then we do that. If that gets, if there is a use case that gets explored, we give them access to all the infrastructure that they need, right? For example, a Neuropixel that's part of the current cohort, they are using our DGX box to do their training, right, for the AI model. So they are in the business of creating synthetic models for for anybody who wants to sell virtually. So you don't need a real model or a photo shoot or a model to wear like 10 clothes. They'll just have one model which just at a click of button can wear various clothes without anything happening in real, right? Just happens. And now they're even working, the model itself is not real, it's a synthetic model. So they're working towards that. So you see how all this is, all the work they're doing is in some ways helping them set up the metaverse, right? When metaverse become full-fledged, they can just install these synthetic models and do the virtual shoots without actually doing a shoot kind of thing. So we are giving them our DGX box where they can just do their training. And we also launched the Spotlight program in this cohort. That's new. Spotlight is nothing but a startup, an offering tailored for startups for NetApp, for Spot by NetApp. So what is it essentially? All startups today, almost all, right? They are cloud native and everything use a lot of cloud resources, which effectively cost them money, right? So Spot by NetApp allows them to reduce their cloud spend by up to 73% by optimizing on the cloud, right? So we have just rolled it out to all our startups free of cost, right? Just do it. They are getting access to the Spot architects, which allows them to fine tune their product so that they, just to follow all the best practices in cloud and save themselves a lot of money. In future, if they want to become cloud agnostic, then how do you do that? How do you build your backend that it's not a challenge when your different clients are on different clouds? You can deploy your product. So those are the kind of things that we offer and fill the gaps for our startups. Hope that that's what you wanted to understand. Yeah.
Yes, Madhurima. So now we understood about your mentoring aspect. What are the challenges in catering to these new age technologies?
Yeah, so see, I think one of the challenges, and I'm not talking about the standard challenges that happens when you are a corporate working with a startup or a startup working with corporate, which is respect to, speed, size, and all that other stuff. But just because they are so new age, right? It is a challenge to figure out where do they fit in the org, right up front. It takes a lot of time to really explore. It takes a lot of brainstorming to see how because startups all are very focused, right? They've developed a technology and they're focused on one use case. So to actually figure out if that technology can be used for various use cases, and then if it even makes sense for the startup to go down that path, right? Because you don't want them to lose focus and try and do 10 different things. Because we tell them you have to build focus, you have to build deep expertise or inroads in one particular area, right? So getting that balance right when they are when this field itself is so new, that is I think one of the biggest challenges that at least I see. Yeah.
We spoke about deep tech startups, we spoke about the technologies and the mentorship aspect. Talk to us a little bit about the thriving women-led startup ecosystem within the deep tech space. What is going on over there? What are the new trends in terms of mentorship for them? What are the challenges that you have to help bridge gap?
Yeah. So Vaishnavi, we can we have some, we also rely on certain reports and we can share those with you, which will state the data. But just what I see, what I observe is that there is a lot of talk that has happened about, how we have to support women in STEM, about how we have to create a very inclusive culture and all. But there's a lot that still needs to be done. So, and COVID has not helped, right? Just yesterday, we had a session that was organized by NetApp Women in Technology group, and they were talking about the various kind of biases that exist, right? And those are biases that you are just unaware of. It's not like you are doing this, despite knowing them. It just takes a lot of effort, sustained effort, push to overcome these biases, right? And that is existing, that's a reality of today's world. So women entrepreneurs do face these challenges. Programs like ours, Accelerate Her, we try to open, new open channels, open gates for these women entrepreneurs by connecting them to the right folks, and providing them with whatever resources they need to succeed. But despite that, I think what we do is just a drop in the ocean. There's a whole lot that still needs to be done. I've been a woman entrepreneur myself, right, and experienced the challenges firsthand. Since then and now, yes, it's great. People are at least talking about these. People are aware, but we still keep coming across instances when women entrepreneurs go for fundraising, right? They get questions which a male entrepreneur would never get. So a lot of work needed on that side. And I think what we are trying to do is create this community, and we cannot negate the power of community, right? That's what we are doing in our workplaces. We are trying to get more women in the senior leadership roles so that there are role models. There are women, who extend a hand and pull others up, right? What's been happening in the other spaces. Replicate that, create that community of women entrepreneurs who can share their challenges with each other, share how they overcome those challenges, and on the investor side as well, we are seeing more women coming in as on the VC side. So I think we've started moving towards that. There will be an inflection point. I don't know when we will start talking about when we'll even start saying that she's a women entrepreneur. We will not need to make that distinction, because there is really a level playing field.
Thank you, Madhurima, and look forward to that happening and soon. Thank you for joining us for this conversation, and we were able to get insights on new age technologies like Metaverse, crypto, their applications in the consumer side, how enterprises are supporting them, and what we can gain from mentorship aspects in terms of new accelerators coming in for knowledge sharing and resource sharing. And you spoke about the women-led startup ecosystem and where it has to go and where it is currently. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking time out for this.
Thank you. It was a pleasure talking to you, Vaishnavi.